on the spot or anything, but it's always so interesting. It's like as soon as the camera's on, it feels like this pressure. I'm trying to find this balance of like, let's just be natural and have a conversation. If something is private or whatever, we cut it out. If to get some snippets, we can use it for something.
Yes.
But I was gonna say, like, the reason I've been reaching out to some different colleagues lately is um just kind of wanted to get a pulse from everyone. Like, it really feels like the mutation is like we're full effect, you know. And I know it's not even full effect yet, but it feels like it. And so it's like, how are you feeling that? How's that feeling with like the human design business world and all your projects I want to hear about? And I don't know, I've been sensing there's some like some of the old ways of doing things aren't working as they used to, you know?
Absolutely.
And I mean, you're across the planet, so I'm sure you have opinion on that. um but so yeah, curious about that. I want to hear about your projects. And then I also have had this feeling for myself, like like almost like a little with bored with things. Like we're trying to do all these new things and it's just it's like not really. I mean, there's moments, but like I just feel like there's so much potential in human design and we've been trying to do it a certain way. And I feel like we just need to shake it up and be real and be honest and ask each other some real raw questions or pull something out of each other or yeah, bring it alive. There's so much potential in this system and this way of being together when we apply it in community and union and communion. And it's like, are we doing that? Is there something we're missing? Is there I know you've done a lot of the last few years, you've been investigating a lot on your own, some you've been getting certified. Um, but I know like one of the last few times I've talked to you, you're like, oh my gosh, like my mind is blown with what I'm uncovering and like the cosmology and all this stuff. And you've never really got to tell me about it. So I've come to pick your brain. I've come to pull things out of you and I think you're an amazing human and teacher and I think you've got a lot to offer and I want to help you bring out the best in what you have.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, Peter, for your recognition. That sounds so good. My ego is like, yeah, yeah. And it's fun to watch it. Um, and like I'm listening to your extended question slash sharing slash introduction slash kind of immersion, yeah, in our chat. And immediately I have like this, we are in the world of duality. Everything is duality. So in terms, my sharing can be both personal and transpersonal. And from the personal perspective, yeah, I keep working. Yeah, I keep working. And actually, in my work, I'm way more focusing on one-on-one. I understand more what it is to be a projector and how deep I can take a person. Because I also got more tools. I became a rave psychologist. I did BG5. So in the last year, I finished DDP. So I'm taking people on the PHS processing, yeah, for every very different reasons. For me it's like so satisfying, just be with person one-on-one, dive into their story and pull things out of them that are there that they don't see, and I don't see them until we meet and things start unfolding. And this to me, it's just incredible, like really. So I started gaining also new tools, a bit of a coaching and a bit of a mentoring, a bit of the processing that I got in HGS, and I keep evolving in this a lot. And I see how through this one-on-one work, I also gain more tools for groups, because I still go to festivals and I still do retreats. This year, not so much, maybe two or three, but still, things are happening. So that's been my focus. And the interesting part is that when I was finishing DDP, the part of DDP is to write a final paper. And it was a long program, you know, it was like 3 years. And in these 3 years, two and a half, a bit over two and a half, I was like trying to pull out of myself what is that really interesting to me to go deep and to write about, to research. And as I was in this process in the middle of this education also, I picked up something else, and this is the first time in 10 years that I went to study something that is not human design. And I became death doula.
Yeah, I think I saw you write that somewhere.
I was writing a few posts about it after I realized that when I was studying, I never worked in a hospices or anything of the sort. Again, I'm mostly focusing on one-on-one work, Zoom, very little in the aura, you know, because in Slovakia, I'm in Slovakia and I don't know that many people. But what I realized that that's something I'm so interested to dive in and to explore, to research. So I created the group, the research group, and I wasn't still diving deeply into the mechanics of grieving. What is grieving for us? Because this
Wow.
is something that's kind of neglected also in human design, but human design is not psychology. It's not really our goal to uh, heal in the way specific kind of states, even though we can attune, of course, grieving with individual and melancholy and this, but there's much more to it. Anyways, yeah, not going deeply into the subject, I started exploring this, and I realized that when we connect to our cognitive architecture, to the tone of our PHS, we can be so much more connected through the sense, through our senses, into life, into body, into here and now, that the whole grieving process just goes way smoother and softer. And obviously, I discovered it in my own experiment because I was going through death of a friend and heavy loss. You know, I also invested quite a lot in the Bitcoin thing, and it didn't quite work. And so it were things that I was dealing with, and I realized that the more I focus on my tonality, the more I watch how my body is responding into when I'm there in the lower side of the way, in the darkness, what the mind does, and all this patterns that are patterns, but it's so hard to see these patterns while you are in. So that's been quite a focus with the people, and then some of them went to journey with me in this. So it's a very specific theme that I took with human design and I'm developing, and that sounds like what? How can you connect? But when you look at life, that's such a huge part of our life.
Well, I know I'm
Huh?
having a whole chain of thoughts from you telling me that. It's amazing.
You want to share?
I guess two main things. One, yeah, this grief path or passage or work, the grief work. I mean, it's so much a part of this. I mean, I'll call it the medicine path, or it's not like it's a part of it. It's just it comes up on the medicine path. Like when people do ceremonies or do a lot of this work, like what gets dumped out of their subconscious is like, oh, I've been holding it together so hard. I mean, you're talking about death, grief,
Yeah,
but
but
like I'm just
it's everything. It's like
life,
about loss.
life.
It's about
Yeah,
a lot of people grieving their youth, losing
yeah,
their time in the body, yeah, and many things that you wouldn't think you can grieve of.
yeah. And I mean, and being into, anywhere you're individual, all that melancholy, just like letting yourself sit in that and be with that is such a, it's a doorway, you
Yeah.
know? People are so afraid of it. And it's like we have this line in one song that we sing, there's like, this path through the depths of sorrow creates the clarity for tomorrow. And it's like you just have to feel it. You just have to be with it and not be afraid of it. And then the geometry changes. And then it's also makes me think the second thing is um yeah, just that shadow work, looking at it, that's to me, that's a very shamanic practice, is not being able to afraid to look right into the things that are hard to look at. And that's the heart of it right there, is just these things that we carry so deep in our heart that we just have to hold it together and put on a mask and stay in control and whatever it is, hold it together.
Yeah, there's so
So
many factors that basically the work that we're doing is acknowledging, putting on the surface, speaking about it, and not looking for solution, but more of surrender, accept. Because it's hard to say, easy to say these words, but the actual work, that's incredibly sophisticated, because there's everything you are mentioning now. Yeah, it's there, and way more. Of course, you can write books on that. So yeah, and on the one hand, I'm such a kind of happy person, and life is a holiday, and really, and suddenly I find myself in this topic that kind of also brings out my own depth, and yeah, I just love it. I absolutely love it. But love it is not like even a good word for it. I just feel that this is something meaningful, deeply meaningful, is to even.
life, it's real life. I mean, that's your business, right? Life, death, and human design, or something like that.
That's a group. This group I opened like, I don't know, 7 years ago when I was teaching on a death course, and just stayed like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is something
it's
else,
part of
but
life.
connected, still connected.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say, that you use this word boredom, kind of. It's like so many things are happening, but nothing really happening. And it also feels to me that what you are transmitting is this phoenix thing, yeah, is literally, because we know that in just less than 2 years we're going to dive into the new ocean, and this ocean carries this frequency of melancholy and boredom, being like a central channel, the knowing, all the circuit, all of it is there. It's imprinted. So this boredom, in the way, it's about um, lack of creativity, and lack of creativity is natural when we are in the transitional stages, right? So it's like, yeah, in one way it is, and then of course creativity comes, you forget what is boredom, and then the project is over, and then it's again and repeat, and literally we are moving this cycle. It's so good for us to uh, identify the cycles, to even
Yeah.
detect that they're happening. Right?
Just the fact that you mentioned that, like, the emptiness, the you call it I called it boredom, but it's like, yeah, that the limitation before the mutation. I mean, it's right there. I see it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I
That's a
was,
great.
when you were sharing, I was putting the keywords, keynote. What shall I address? So I just put that one, and yeah, about things are shifting. They are shifting so strong. I was certified also as a living and design guide teacher 2 months ago. So this also kind of big. I still didn't announce it in the social media for some reason, but that happened. And I have a school. I teach the whole package, yeah, from living
Oh,
unit
okay.
design to living
Right,
unit
right.
design
So a
guide.
guide, you're a guide trainer.
Yeah, yeah. But you know why I'm talking about it is because I realized I cannot do it anymore like they did in. I just
Mm,
I just
I know what you mean.
no. It's like impossible. It's like our DNA is changing. Why shall we resist? it's just because somebody told us. No, but how, my question was, how the heck do I do it without like changing something, because I signed up under the body, the official body, that I'm going to deliver this information in these structures, whatever it is. So what
Yeah.
I came is literally with the formula where my students receive all these classes recorded, and then we do meetings. And the meetings we're doing exactly what you were talking about. Only what I'm offering, I mean, I don't know how you are doing it in detail, right? You also didn't really share, but what I'm doing is preparing exercises based on the theme, the topic. So every topic, I'm sitting and structuring, and there are a lot of details of how to transmit that you are generator and I'm projector without just talking about it. Let's meet one on one or in pentas and do something together. And while we're doing something together, it's there is an observer, there is a passenger watching it. And then when I share from the observer after the project finished, and I do like fun things, like for example, I had the Living Your Design BG5 edition. So there I was asking my students in the exercises like to create a company, to do the business plan, and this is the data for that specific project, and they have half an hour to write everything, or fun things that are literally creating this vortex of energy, and so everybody has fun and not just dry learning and learning and giving examples, which we anyway do already for years. So that created absolutely new direction and new flow. And also I have a partnership with Pavaka, and she's also come from so many immersions. And this was also really, really fun to see that some courses I did alone, some courses I did with her. And we're just like having fun, and to me, this is so important, that things become lighter, that things become easier. And at the same time, we're still keeping the frequency, we're still focusing on the source, our connection with the source through
100%.
our crystal clear vessels. Yeah.
I if I had time to be a stand-up comedian, I would, but I trying to make some
But you
human
were
design.
34, 20, and you were working, working, working.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that sounds amazing. Yeah, yeah, I'm all for the lightness. I mean, everyone's so serious, and I'm always cracking jokes, and I've got some as a 3-5, I've kind of got to watch my sarcasm or my dry humor, because it's it's not always at the right time and place, but but I'm all for more of it. People usually want more of it.
that's fun. Yeah. And then, of course, there is this transpersonal side, yeah, from what I do, and that's creating a communal spaces as a proper
Yep.
community, and part seeking for a whole. And it's incredible how today the reality just opens for that to happen, and in a different way as well. So you know very well, I was doing the human design marathon from 2020 when we started, and then it's kind of transformed into human design rave festival. And that's exactly what I felt. In the end of that festival, I felt like there was so much information, but something was missing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you talked about. So big resonance here. And what was it for me? It was many things, actually. Of course, it was online, so we couldn't meet and hug and smell each other and all
Mhm.
that. But on top of it, I felt like there is need to go deeper, yeah, to go deeper, and at the same time, not like to dive mega deep, and reach the traumas and all of that. Not
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah,
deep.
just be real. Just a space to dig deep, be real and honest and
Exactly, to be
talk
deep in the
about that.
now, to be deep in the now, how it
Yeah.
is to feel. Again, yeah, it's similar to what I'm doing with grieving and sensory mechanisms, but here it's like, yeah, let's create this space where there's not too many people. So it's not a festival like we have a hundreds, and that's what we did. We had it in Sofia last year. It was amazing, but I really don't feel like repeating. Yeah, I felt like doing this something that is walking along with the time progression as well. And that's what feels. The time progression is a smaller groups, so that there can be more intimacy, so there can be more connection, and at the same time there is a line, and this line is not just a random combination of random things, here and there. It's just we're kind of on a journey. We're in the flow. And this one flow is that. So that's how the gathering was born. And in the gathering, we have a theme, which is decoding the origins. And decoding the origins literally means let's look deeper at the foundation of human design, what it actually is. No, we talk about chakra, I Ching, Kabbalah, astrology. Most of us are never studied these disciplines. Most of us have no idea what it actually means. We just repeat what Ra was saying, and Ra also wasn't professional in any of that. So it's like, how about we look there?
Hmm.
So we create each day, like we have 4 foundation, we have 4 days of the program plus 1 day kind of landing, relaxing, which is also a great update for me, because what we always do, we kind of open and go. And this time it's like, no, let's relax, let's take time, let's just be for a second before we step on a journey. So first day will be very relaxed, no program other than opening ceremony and evening concert, also with no obligation, so to say. And then we dive into each origin. And in each origin within it, we have a structure. So all 4 days will start with a sort of immersion, but not really because we are adapting it. So immersion is dividing people by groups according to this or that topic of human design and observing what happens, how it feels, creating space. And we're going to add this extra element of the origin. So on the first day, if we talk about the lines, the I Ching, we're going to look at the lines or profiles or trigrams. We'll see angles, yeah, anything that can go there. In the chakra, we're gonna obviously play around centers and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's that is it. Yeah, in the Kabbalah will more dive into circuitry. In astrology, we'll look at the planets and we'll see how it feels, how all the things feel when we're surrounded by like-minded people. That's the focus, yeah, of this. And then after this morning program, we'll have a deep lecture. And also we made sure that we chose the best possible lecturers who are also in human design, but also they are professionals in this other sphere. So we have Martin Grasinger that you know very well because he comes from actually Chinese medicine, because that's where the I Ching is used as well, meridians, and you actually know these things because you're also healing and working with these modalities, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I know the meridian system.
Yeah, that it's also based on the hexagrams and trigrams and I Ching, and that basically, but he's going to take it into slightly different perspective. Yeah, then
So
we
interesting. I've always felt there was a connection um with that, with the meridians,
yeah, yeah,
and not just, yeah, because you touch a thing here and then you feel it over here. So there's you know there's a connection, you know?
Yeah.
So it's makes me think of these invisible channels that we have, you know?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's like what we have on the cross, the opposite side, for example, and you can look at it from, I mean, just around this could be the whole retreat could be built. But then, for example, for Kabbalah, we're gonna have somebody from Israel who actually works with Kabbalah system in architecture and also studied human design. So she's going to bring absolutely incredible perspective. Then for the chakra, we bring Yogeshwar, who is a human design analyst, but he's a Brahmin from Pune, from India. And he's going to, obviously, he comes from a family of deep tradition and teaching yoga. This is their life path. So he's going to represent the chakra system and Hindu part of human design. And then for astrology, we're gonna have Darshana because that's what she was before she discovered human design. She was an astrologer, and yeah, so that's the only 1.5 hour, the only time of the lecture. You know, 1.5
That's
hours. Yeah, and then there is going to be a workshop, that will continue the lecture and kind of bring the practical application of it. And in the evening, we're also going to have a program, and also evening program will be in the frequency of the system. So we're going to have Chinese music concert with Qigong and Tai Chi dance. We're going to have singing circle tribal in the Kabbalah. We're going to have element work and shamanic work in the chakra breathing journey, where also human design professional will basically show us the synchronization of different kinds of breathing and her research with correlation to energy systems, energy centers, and
Mhm.
so on. So you see, we're like really, how you say, embroidering, yeah, like step by step
Yeah.
this vision, and make sure that every part of it, as much as possible, is practical, is
Mhm.
experiential, is about
It,
connection.
almost like not being able, being afraid to say, yeah, there's nothing here, you know, shining your light in this dark cave and going, hey, is there something in here that we can look into that might, you know, oh, wait, there's another whole cave down there I didn't even realize. And it's like, that's human design to me, is it's really alive. It's really a living system. Like you look at something and it starts to go, oh, you want to see more? It starts to morph and reveal itself to you, but you got to look at it. You've got to dive into it. And
And
and I think
make
as
space
as
for it. It's
as
incredible.
fearless leaders, you know, we're not here to say I know exactly how it works, you know, and let me just regurgitate this lecture I heard. And but it's like, let's see what's here. Let's see if there's something more. Let's see if we can, if this is really alive, it's still alive and it's going to show us something. So, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Or if we hit a wall, we hit a wall. But like, that's really cool that you have this practical, it's a practical exploration to see what's really here and what can we see.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I mean, everything starts with a thought form and then sharing the thought form, seeing how it resonates on the outside, and then aligning all the resonances, and everything that doesn't serve falls off. Everything that serves becomes stronger. And
Mhm.
and that's how everything is working. Yeah. So for me, this is not, what is going to happen in September. It's 10 to 14 of September 2025 in Slovakia, close to Vienna airport, so it's easy for everybody to come from everywhere. We organize shuttles. We organize a lot of fun things, like I'm bringing amazing healers for massages and stuff, and the sauna and chai shop, and I bring the alchemist, certified alchemist actually, to bring like a special potion elixir shop to create all kind of potions for everybody to tune with their design. Like we really doing such work which is work of heart. This is for me, it's the most important, that if this heart is not there, then it's doesn't worth anything. And actually this is also my personal evolution with the system, that what I've been meeting with, working with so many professionals. I mean, the last festival we had more than 50 teachers, and with each teacher we had conversations and meetings and emailing and Zoom and you name it. So there's a lot of communication, and of course we can sense each other also through Zoom, and a lot. Yeah, so I started also seeing like the entity of human design and how it develops in the world. And it's not even about individuals, but it's more of, some people are really living it. Some people have a mission of just transmitting it. Some people just care about money, nothing else. Some have other agendas. So there's such a variety within the system of everyone putting their needs, projections, expectations, desires into this system. So in the end, it comes only to one thing. What is my place with it? From what place do I choose to work from it? And I'm asking myself every day, and I see that there's no way that I answer and I stay with this. It's like, this is the practice, this is the work to remind myself, because there's so much destruction, so much destruction. And it's really not that hard to lose the focus, especially for such open design as mine. Open G, open Ajda's head, throat, all of that. It's like so easy. So to me, this is practice, Peter, like really. This is my main thing. It's all for me. We all doing everything just for us. But when I say for me, and also when I say this is a work with the self, I don't talk about Julia. And I don't talk about Julia's personality. I'm talking about the G center. I'm talking about 25th gate, that I don't have it defined, but it's the essence. To me, work with the system should be done for me. I don't talk about others, for me. Only this is my only place, from which I choose to work. Doesn't matter what I do, one on one or this big project, I don't care. This is the focus.
Well, yeah, it's and as a 1-3, this is really an experimental investigation for you. Um,
Yeah, but
you
it's
know,
easy to lose it, because human design system has a very controversial system. And the more we go, the more controversies we're meeting, you know. And some generator tells me that I cannot talk to him because he's not invited me. And this for me is not working, this kind of communication, because I'm talking to you, to Peter.
for
I'm not talking
humans.
to
Yeah.
generator. I don't
Yeah.
care, about this and that. I went to, have I wanted to have a manifestor in one of my editions, and I wrote to her, that I'd really like to talk to you and ask you a few questions. And I get a message like that. How dare I, projector, talk to her like that, for example. And to me, this is unacceptable. This is not human design. This is BS. This is not work with the true self. Yeah, because we're humans, first of all, and our designs are just a part of it. Yeah, I'm like,
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. And it's a phase. It's a but
yeah,
yeah,
you were
human
talking about true, not true, yeah, and really in your introduction, you mentioned how important it is to be real and to be honest, and I see that it is important, but it's like it's
yeah,
such a
and to
big
be
work.
and to be one thing I've always said is to be gentle with ourselves and like to be compassionate. Like, you know, no one is better than anyone else. We're all just one. we're all walking down the same path here, maybe, but we're all humans. We're all humans. We're all dealing with the same machinery and living on the same planet. So it's like, anyway, there's just a lot of forces we're up against. So let's just be kind, and gentle in this process of learning how to be ourselves. But yeah, um yeah, it gets dogmatic for
You
sure.
know, what you say, it's I partially agree and partially disagree. I tell you why. Because sometimes, and actually, I'll tell you as a first line from where I disagree first. From
Mm-hmm.
my research, when I lived in India for several years, and I studied basically Vedic wisdom and yoga and meditation and all of that, and ashram and bhakti yoga. It was like a huge chapter in my life.
Yeah, same
And
here.
yeah. I know that we share a lot of fractals in common. I guess that's where our nature of our connection happens. But what I learned is that there are 5 levels in human hierarchy. The lowest one is called Shudra. And if something goes wrong, nothing can help them. You cannot explain them. You can only beat them. That's the language with these people, and it's like those that are closer to untouchables, the lowest of the lowest. Then the next one is the sellers, and the sellers, they with them you can more like just put them on the plaza on the main square and kind of tell in front of everybody that they are not okay, and that will work because this collective shaming is a big thing for them. With Shudras, it's not going to work. Then we have warriors. And the warriors, Vaishnavi, for them, it's enough to receive this feedback one on one, to talk to them, and they will understand and they will make a lesson just from talking. And there's a higher caste or Brahmin, yeah, the all kinds of the mystic and religious work or whatever. It's much more complex than that, but let's keep it simple. With those, it's enough just to look or to send a telepathic message, and they will receive the lesson. And as we know, there is a wisdom in the hierarchy. Hierarchy is reality of this planet. Is duality cannot be without hierarchy. So each person will receive their teacher in their teaching in the level. So with some people, you gotta be gentle. It's true. But with some people, you need to chop their head off. And that's the only way they will understand. And of course, today in the Western society, we don't do beating. They still do it in third world countries. Actually, you still see those ancient methodologies. We don't do it, but some people really deserve, like beating when they don't get, and that's gonna help them in the long run. It will, So I just kind of wanted to bring this element.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, zooming back out, it sounds amazing. It's really good to hear you talk about this gathering that you're putting together, and I'm happy for you. It's nice to hear you're balancing it out with all the one-on-one and going deep into that. And yeah, I think that's it kind of touched upon this vulnerable place in to me in the human design teaching world or whatever is it's not about it's less to me it's less about knowledge and how much can you prove that you know and share, which is important too. It's not proving the proving part, but like
Yeah,
transmitting the knowledge.
sure.
But the experience, how does it come alive in your life? And I feel like that's kind of what's missing is we need to pull that out of people. Like what's because people go back into their own little private worlds. They have these little, this grief or little things we sweep under the rug or things that, oh, that doesn't quite fit into my path, but whatever, we'll just how does it fit in, and how can we talk about it or accept it, or relationships and parenting and survival and living on earth at this time is just, it's very tumultuous inside and out. So yeah, I think that's where I see it all coming alive and experimenting with and having direct experience and becoming um, authorities, knowing, not knowing. It's okay to not know something. I love not knowing things, and as a teacher, it's I love I love being able to say I don't know, because that's a wonderful example to to when you say you don't know, then you open yourself to the magnetism of life bringing it to you, bringing the answer to you. There's something beautiful about not knowing, and being open about that, and exploring that together. That's what I was saying, like being the fearless leader in the dark cave and going, hey, I'm just gonna see what happens. I might fall off a cliff or get eaten by a monster, or actually may lead to a hidden paradise I didn't even know existed inside here. So that's where I feel there's just a whole realm that the human design business paradigm has thrown us off in some ways. Maybe that, it's um I mean, there's all this business, it's just as soon as you know something, you need to be a teacher and an anal or do readings, and it's like we're selling ourselves short from this experiential living path.
Absolutely. And
And
actually,
so
this is so amazing that you're talking about it, because that's what made me go and study something else. And that's why I'm lucky I entered human design from huge experience. I have 3 university degrees. I lived in different countries, studied a lot of modalities other than that. And I had a lot of psychedelic experience. I had a lot of body body torturing experience, like doing all kind of crazy things with my body, let's put it in one sentence. And all of that, it really allowed me to see human design in its depth, how deep it could go, how it can penetrate the levels of the unconscious, to the not the level of who I am and what is happening with me, but to the level of seeing the mechanisms that are managing what is happening to me, the root cause. This is the language. This is the language of the system. And that's why I realize more and more that people I am resonating with, yourself included, are people who are doing also other things, that they're not just stuck in the human design world, that come with a solid foundation, with a proper education, which is, for myself as a 1-3, that's what I see. I see when people are not educated and they're bringing the system out, it's a damage. It's really damage, because they're saying the right words, but the frequency is not there. And I could again, yeah, develop much more. But who am I? I mean, I have only to look into myself and polish my own crystal, yeah, so it shines and reflects the light in the color it's supposed to reflect. Let's put it like this, yeah. So a lot, and I am questioning myself, many things, because also I see how my work changes in one-on-ones when I less and less use human design terminology and more just talk about the essence of what is, so a person can see and find themselves in there. It's more of kind of not like telling them, but bringing them into their realization. And sometimes there's totally different realization, and that's incredible. That's incredible. We have tools, yeah,
mhm.
but I'm not putting the tool on the stage anymore. And I think that's what each of us went through as a human design professional, like only human design. This is the solution to every problem. There's nothing else that can help you. If you don't get human design, you will not get anything, and you are done. Go home. Who are you that I waste my moments on? And we're past it. We realize there are many, at least 66, according to human design, path, always 66 ways to the source, to wherever you gotta go.
Say
From
more about 66 pathways to source. What?
yeah, something like that, something like that. Uh, so saying that only human design, it's already not correct by mechanics of human design. The system itself says that it's not, and that's why I expand now human design and bring people in who are in the system, but they are way more than the system, a
Mhm.
universe in itself, each of them. Yeah.
Would this is my wife actually asked me this question last night. We were kind of having a similar conversation about talking about right now, and she's like, "Do you think you just want to call it something different?" And I said, "No, I don't think so. I think some people are doing that, but I think you can still call it human design and just have the right way that or put it in the right context of how you're applying it. Using it as uh, an overlay in whatever else you're doing, bringing it. It's like I said, it's a living system. So when you see it through that, it adds a whole other context for your experience or your feeling or the essence of your, like you were saying, the tapping into the essence of your experience. It gives you a context. So yeah, it's I don't. I'm answering my own question. I don't feel like I need to rename it to something else, but I think you
There is
can.
such integration.
I've been doing all these. I've been recording a lot of my classes to have them like for download on my platform, and so I'm getting used to doing these videos and talking to myself and it being animated and having these conversations with myself. It's a little weird actually.
To have a human being in your screen suddenly.
Yeah. Guess we're all just with ourselves all the time anyway. Mm.
That is true. That is completely true. I feel like this as well. And every time something comes, is like, aha, there's another angle of myself. But for me as a projector, it's kind of obvious, right? I mean, we're here to know life through others.
Mhm.
And not just through other people, through everything, actually.
But you're also you're the most self-absorbed profile, but you're here for the other. How do you see the juxtaposition of that?
Easy. And I gave you the answer already. And this is something that I'm getting deeper and deeper in. It's not about what the system tells us, it's about how we understand the system. So when you hear the self-absorbed,
Mhm.
the absorbed in the self, in what kind of self am I absorbing, Julia? And my understanding of this keynote is that I'm here to be absorbed in the self that is not me. It's in the higher modalities within me and within everything. So my focus is focused on the source and the process of alignment with the source in every breath I take and every move I make, literally. And that's
Because you
what
have
that's
an
how I
open G too,
understand.
right?
Oh,
You have an open G too, yes?
yeah, I have an open G, and I have
Sorry.
one gate there, 15. Yeah, like for a moment, like what do I have there? But it's really, another thing with human design that I am going through personally is deeper dive into the energies and frequencies themselves, without even thinking of Julia and how Julia is, because the Julia is mind concept, or just like this form that the mind concept is correlating itself with. And I am something bigger than this, than myself. myself. I don't say me, I say myself. So this self is not me, it is my. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So to be self-absorbed is not to be absorbed in me, it's to be absorbed in the self. And that's where I'm aiming in my work and in bigger, smaller. That's why I have G Center as a logo of my project, because it's all about that. The G Center energy to understand, for me, the way I work with human design is to understand, yeah, not mentally, but to experience G Center frequency is to experience union with oneness, with the absolute, with the source, with God, whatever you want to call it. It's not important. It's the program, to dissolve in the program.
The
So
I am. It's to me. It's the I am that I am.
and
And
you do this work. I mean, you are taking people on this journey in your yurt, and of course, this is it. This is it. I
well,
don't see
now
anything else to be lighting my fire, you know, and my desire in this world deeper than this one.
and now I'm starting to work with 5-MeO DMT a little more,
Wow, wow.
which
I
is
heard about it. I don't have experience with it.
it's kind of the king of the entheogens, as far as I can say, because it's in like the psychedelic world we talk about like ego death, and it's actually really fascinating to try to understand what's happening with the 5-MeO experience, because it's you have this potential to be instantly in fully dissolved in union with source. It's and it's there's no there's no work. You're not working like with ayahuasca or something. You are there,
Present.
only surrender. So it's like, but we talk about the ego, and we have the personality and design put together, held together by the monopole in this temporary illusion of Peter and who I think I am now, and that just gets obliterated. But like, what's happening? It's almost like I don't know. I don't claim to know anything here, but something must be going on with the G center or the crystals, because it's almost like they get temporarily torn apart and then put back together. And but it's so I'm actually really curious what other people who've experienced that think about it. Because you come back together, but it's also really fascinating. It's a very somatic experience. Um,
And I heard that it stays for like days in the body, the state, the physical state.
oh,
Is that correct?
I hadn't had an afterglow like that in a decade or something like that. I mean, probably 3 weeks I was
Wow.
in another state. It was, and I'm still integrating my last experience from 6 months ago. So it's like, it's I mean, it's like I don't know, I can just go there. It's kind of
Wow.
it's wild, but
I want to share with you something. I have a friend. He's quite in position, you know. He's very, very famous in what he's doing. Doesn't matter what he's doing. And apparently, there is a group of people who work with substances like this, and they create something, you know. And from what I understood, the goal is to create a substance that will not only activate your observer in the state of full absorption into oneness, but to reach the observer of the observer. And they managed to create this, and they invite only kind of influencers to go through this experience, and they record everything. And the journey, they last like 24 5 hours or something.
mm,
And why am I telling you this? Because to me, it's fascinating. I mean, human design came through the person who's been experimenting with substances on a hardcore level, and he doesn't stop talking about it in all his classes. And these people who created this thing, one of the researchers brought this out in a very non-direct way, of course, because the experiment is very diverse. And yeah, and you can find this book on Amazon, and it's called The Symphony of Selves,
Mm.
which is what we're all going through. And the
Yeah.
work is to integrate these selves into this one integrated self beyond the duality, and be in that state of being while you are day-to-day basis. Of course you are in duality. You cannot function if you are not in duality. And that's incredible. For me, it's been great inspiration. So it's like almost like we don't need more substances. They just like work as a key, as a door opener, but then you open the door and you go there all by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it all starts to merge and you just live in that
By
state.
yourself, not by their self. It's yourself. It's not you.
Again, I am that I am. I mean, we're all, we all have a direct connection to that. And so,
Mm.
hmm.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with human design at the moment.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And keep not too much drama. Drama's kind of calm down.
Um, which ones do you mean? We always have dramas.
No, you
Drama
sound
is
like
the
that.
catalyzer of the mutation, in evolution. And I love dramas. I mean, dramas is just like fun as long as you are in the observer. Dramas are fascinating.
I know you went through a lot. You were saying, I don't know if it was, yeah, if it was around the new year or there was the new year before that. I forget you had a lot of stuff, big passage going on.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's like depends of how you look at it. On the one hand, we just go with the flow and things happen. And when there is a lot of interaction, a lot of people involved, there's always something happening. So on this level, it's nothing is really happening. But on the other level, I am personally fascinated and I'm so grateful to be in the situations where I can literally, with my body, even though most of it happens in the Zoom, to experience what it is, um, different crystals reflecting light in such a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally 2 days ago, we decided that we're going to have an event, which is like pre-launching or maybe already past launching the gathering. And we're going to look at this and at that topic. And then we were looking for a name. And then the name came. We called it Looking Behind the Curtain or Behind the Curtain.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, but what do you think it's going to be about? Like, what does this name associate for you?
Um, well, from mundane to mystic, there's always something going on behind the scenes. On the mundane level, people always have hidden agendas and, other programs operating their intentions and whatever. On the mystical level, it's just all right. I mean, I think my near death experience really showed me that it's just all right there all the time. I mean, you just have to know how to access it, the higher states of awareness.
Okay.
So, no, am I going in the right direction?
There's no such thing. It's just like I was gonna illustrate to you that everybody looks at this name in like completely different way. And we almost had like a conflict, to call it like this or not to call it like this. Because this other person says, no, but it sounds like Iron Curtain, like some post-Soviet, like
Oh,
I would never think about it. You probably would never think about it. Then somebody else says, So does it mean you go and show us what happens behind the scenes of the gathering? Or, and then somebody else who basically came up with the name, they had a totally different agenda. They had agenda like, let's look behind the keynoting, behind the scenes of the curtain of human design. You see,
Yeah.
so it's like even with such simple thing, let's name an event and go for it. Everybody puts their own crystal in it. They're all
Yeah.
colored.
I'm getting this image in my head. I guess maybe it's a metaphor for this. Like when I used to teach body work, teach people how to do massage. If you're trying to get something from this angle, I would say, what happens if you just totally change your position and you get on top of the person or go on the side over here? You see it from a whole other angle.
Exactly.
Like you use it, you brings out another part of your body. It brings out it engages another mechanic that you maybe weren't even aware of that was there. Um, and it's like with human design. It's like if we're feeling stuck in a group, because this is like one thing I was saying has been weird for me is like I want to have depth, and then I get these groups together, and then as soon as there's this big transpersonal
Field.
or whatever, it just all the magic just leaks out. So it's like, okay, maybe we recognize that and break into smaller groups, or um I don't know, that kind of thing where it's like, or can we look at it in the face and name it and be quiet for a second and come come as ourselves again, or not? Does it just not work with certain mechanics? And even once I turn the camera on, the record on, how does that change our connection? It's like, oh, we're recording something, so I can't say this or that. It's like, what if we just sit with that and I go, you know what, fuck this, whatever, and just, I don't know where I'm going with that, but
Totally. Totally.
behind the curtain. Yeah.
And the direction, the global direction, as we know from 2027, but we already smell it, is of course the smaller pentas, breaking the institutions, the planning. So big mechanisms they're breaking down. We already clearly see that, and it's just the beginning of the beginning. And the more we go, the more it's going to happen. Yesterday it was theoretical stuff in Raoul's lectures. Today you open the TV and you hear all of that. So it's already present. So we see that that's the um, flow. Yeah? The general flow is into crumbling, everything crumbling. What is it crumbling into? Into smaller pieces. So what you're saying is super valid, is that the power becomes in the smaller group, and to have your group, your fractal, your people that support you and that hear you, that's see and acknowledge also your shadows and not just your um, facade. Yeah, all of it is, it's also part. And lucky those of us who find these people on a personal level, yeah, the beloved ones, really people with whom you can be completely intimate, make babies, make projects, and communities, small communities. Regardless if you're a teacher and you're teaching small community, or you're living and you got both. Yeah, I also in the periods of life had all of it. Then I had to migrate. I'm in the process of, yeah, and see, like for me now it's on the online, but also there I realized that I'm much more interested in having a good quality people and going deep with them than work for masses that be like blogger, with tons of audience. Like I didn't find inside me this space that wants it. That everything that wanted it was not me. It was this conditioned kind of American dream. Sorry. Oh, I, for example, I for a moment forgot you're from America.
Sorry, I'm not
It's
defending anything over here.
it's kind of, yeah, it's not personal, but that's what we are all conditioned to, not just in American, right? It's our culture now is just more, bigger, higher in everything. And is it really what I want? That's a good question to ask yourself. And day to day, it's not like I asked, I received a lesson, I understood it, I move on. No, it's constant revision, the revision. It's like, one of my degrees is actually in English literature. And as a part of my education, I had these revision classes. So every semester we have this revision class. 13 classes, yeah, like the semester. You write a text on the first class, and then you have to rewrite it. And teacher tells you what's not okay. And like this, every class you rewrite your own thing. Like individuals like yourself, but even me, we were all like ready to suicide, to do it again and again and again and again. But now, so almost 30 years later, I look at it, I was like, that was actually incredible skill that I gained. There is self-reflection, there is repetition, there is polishing and polishing, not into perfection that's unreachable, but into your own perfection, what it is for you. Yeah. So that's the the
Beautiful.
process. Yeah.
Julia, I
I already see from
I
your
have
body
to
language.
actually I have to wrap it up here. I forgot I have an appointment. I thought it was at 10:30, but it's at 10. So I
I
have to
can
be
feel,
some.
no, I could feel it already as I'm speaking, like, okay, we're finishing.
No, it's perfect. This has been really wonderful. I'm grateful to hear what you're doing, and I mostly just want to reach out to my colleagues and just bless up your work, and just it sounds really great what you're doing, and just
Thank you,
staying
thank you.
surfing the waves of staying on the waves of awareness, and doing our best.
I hope.
So keep it up.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was beautiful to chat with you.
You as well. Always. Yeah, I'm glad we can keep circling back and over the years. And I really hope to make it over there one day, maybe when my
Uh,
domestic life eases up a little bit, I can come and, you know, hopefully hopefully get over there post 2027 and enjoy that frequency together.
yeah, yeah, let's see. Breath by breath, step by step. That's the way.
Yep. What I say. All right, my friend. Well, we'll be in touch, and thanks for taking some time. And this has been great.
Hey, ciao.
All right, ciao for now.
Ciao, Peter.
Ah.